Welcome to Yester Quickies, a speedy culinary trip back in time. Today we're traveling to 1966 to discover Texas potato salad. Oh, you're gonna love it. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Jill and this is Yester Kitchen. I've got another quickie for you. Today is another viewer request. I love viewer requests. Today, I would like to thank Lydia Lady. She wrote to me and said, I love potato salad, not a mayonnaise fan. Do you have a recipe for potato salad without mayo? Of course I do. I've got a great one for you. And I'm so happy to share this with you right out of 1966. Okay, so this is a little wacky one. So today we are making Texas potato salad, no mayo, and lots of really different flavors. So in my pot, I have simmering 1 can of beef consomme. It's as simple as that, no water. These potatoes are not gonna cook in water, they're gonna cook in consomme. So I have 4 potatoes here, which I have covered with a damp paper towel. Why? Because then the air doesn't get to them so they don't start turning brown. So until you're ready to use your potatoes, either cover them in water or a damp towel will do, just like I've done. So ready? Ta-da! Here are my 4 beautiful potatoes, and we're just gonna put these right in top of the simmering consomme. The 1960s loved consomme. It's just like beef broth. It's just a little bit lighter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these guys and cover them, and we're gonna cook them for about 20 minutes. You want them tender. How do you know if it's tender? You take a handy dandy knife, and when you go to check them, you push it in your potato, and if of course your resistance right now because they're raw, but as soon as it goes in easily, you're done. Oops, I forgot to share one thing with you. Into your pot with the consomme goes 1 garlic clove. I like to cut it in half so more of the garlic is exposed so you get more of the flavor. So now that we are properly simmering our potatoes, we will come back and make that dressing. Okay, so now that our potatoes are happily taking their sauna, we're gonna make our vinaigrette. The reason it's such a big measuring cup, you're not gonna make this much, is because it's easier to stir, and I love creating vinaigrettes in measuring cups because you can just pour it right out. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, the next thing the recipe calls for is 3 tablespoons of tarragon vinegar. I don't have tarragon vinegar. And you know what? I don't use it often, so I didn't want to go to the store and buy a whole bottle of it for 3 tablespoons. So what I have here is 3 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. And maybe about a half hour ago, I added a teaspoon of dried tarragon. And I just kind of let that sit and party and hang out just like that so it can infuse the flavor. And we're gonna get away with it. If you have tarragon vinegar, by all means use it. If you don't, try this approach. Are you with me, Lydia? Are you loving it? She always tells me the best stories. You know how I always say I love hearing childhood memories from you guys, and it just makes me so happy to read that one of my videos sparked a childhood memory in you. Oh, I hear it from her all the time, and it just makes me smile. I love your childhood memories. Please, please, please keep sharing them with me. Okay, the next thing we're gonna add is 1 teaspoon salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Freshly ground. I always say that. I won't stop. I've got about a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley in here. You can either use the curly or the flat leaf. I like the flat leaf. I just think it has a little more flavor. Next thing I have is a small red onion diced. Now, if you're not a huge onion fan, of course you can use less. This is cooking. This is not baking. Baking is a science. Cooking is fun. So as you can see, it's gonna absorb quite a bit. And the last thing we're gonna add is a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I know, how crazy is this? Now, Texas potato salad. Why do they call it Texas? Well, I'm gonna take a guess. And you know what? I've come to learn that you guys love to guess too. Let me know what you think. I think because Texas is such a huge beef state and we're cooking our potatoes in beef consomme, that's where it came from. The reason was lost in history, which I absolutely love. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just mix this up, and then we're just gonna let it sit for a bit. Now, we're gonna wait until our potatoes are done. We're gonna pull them out of the consomme, throw away the garlic, And we're gonna cut them in just small cubes, you know, like potato salad size. And I will be back when all of that has happened. Okay, our potatoes are done, and I actually saved one for you so I can cut it for you. But before we do that, I just wanted to address a few things that I bet you're thinking. So first of all, we always think the potatoes need to be covered completely with liquid when we cool them. Not true. 1 can of consomme will absolutely do it. Please keep your lid on your pot so all the consomme doesn't evaporate. But you're gonna be totally fine. The next thing is, why are we cutting the potatoes after instead of boiling them in the consomme cut? My guess, because that's all I have to work with, is that the recipe didn't want too much beef flavor in it. It just wanted a subtle beef flavor from the consomme. So if you have any other questions, just reach out. Okay, so here is our last potato. And all I did was cut it in half. Mine took about 25 minutes. It just took a little bit longer than usual, but that's okay. And so now we have our cut potatoes. Hello, happy little mixing bowl. I love this thing, directly out of the 70s. Okay, now you wanna cut your potatoes when they're warm. Do not let them cool, because your potatoes are gonna mix with this vinaigrette we made, because you want the heat from the potatoes to work with your vinaigrette. How's that? So we're gonna take, excuse my reach, I'm gonna take about half of them and put them in our bowl. And then we're gonna take half of our vinaigrette and spread them over the potatoes. Are you following me? And now we take our other half and pour it right over the top. And I missed a few back here, so we will get those. And then you're gonna take the rest of this glorious mixture. And guys, I know it sounds weird, tarragon, Parmesan cheese, onions, it's so good. This recipe is so different. Lydia, you're gonna love this. She says, I like cold potatoes. No mayo. All right. And by the way, if you have a request, send it on over. I will let you know 2 things. My list of requests is huge, but I'm happy to add it, and I always try to make them when I can. And second, I film way in advance. So if you make a request, I will always reply and say I've got it. You might not necessarily see it immediately, but I am here for you guys, and I love to share these things. So keep them coming, and keep those stories coming too. Oh, I love them. Okay, do not mix. Now we're gonna let it sit out somewhere between 10 and 20 and 30 minutes. When it comes to room temperature, we're gonna cover it with foil, and we're gonna put it in the fridge, and it's gonna kind of take a nap, several hours or overnight. So we'll be back when that happens. Okay, it's been about 6 hours, and guys, you really, really wanna let this chill in the fridge for a while. Probably make it the day before, and then the next day you have nothing to do. Well, with the potato salad. But all that's left is to just take everything and give it a little stir. Guys, I cannot even begin to describe the flavors of this potato salad. So different, so delicious, so works. 1966 really knew what they were talking about. And I just love finding these just out of the ordinary, obscure recipes from the past. Ready for your barbecue. Barbecue perfect. Lydia, I can't wait to hear what you think. Thank you so much for the request. And by the way, use a red onion. It's milder, you will love it. Give it a try. I can't wait to hear from all of you. Thanks for stopping by. It's always such an honor to have you join me. Enjoy eating the past, and I will see you in the next video.